Good morning, boys and girls. It is Thursday today. And the last entry that I made for Where the Red Fern Grows was really sad, and this next one is going to be just as hard, I think, for me to get through. I do have my Kleenexes with me. Actually, I have the whole box here with me, and I'll be doing it in just a second. Bear with me. It's super hard, all you dog lovers out there. Just some ideas today. I had a couple questions about doing math. Yes, go ahead if you want to attempt some of the math boxes on the back side of the worksheets that I sent home, or even try to figure out some of the front sides, the new units that we've been doing. You can go ahead and give that a whirl. If you don't get it, it's okay too. It's all new. But give it a whirl and see how you do. Otherwise, keep reading. Today's Thursday, so spelling. You might want to go out on a spelling city and try a couple of the games there. Also, if you want to take a pre-test, of course, we're not going to be testing on our spelling words, but you can certainly take the test and see how you did. So give that a whirl too and see how that goes. But go out there and play some games on Spelling City for me. All right, so what's happening in our story, boys and girls? Yeah, I think old Dan died, and I think little Ann just passed away out, so she just couldn't live without him. And so, of course, the main character, Billy, is super sad, and it makes me sad to read that stuff, but I'll give it my best shot, and we'll see how we do. Okay, make sure you have Kleenex with you too, boys and girls. It's not just me. All right, I've got my glasses. I got my book. All right. So I think the last thing that we talked about was little Ann was finally gone. All right. I laid her head in my lap and with tear-filled eyes gazed up into the heavens, and in a choking voice I said, "Why did they have to die? Why does it hurt so bad? What did I do wrong?" I heard a noise behind me. It was my mama. She sat down and put her arm around me. "You done nothing wrong, Billy," she said. "I know this seems terrible and I know it hurts, but at one time or another everyone suffers." "I know, Mama," I said, "but I can't understand. It was bad enough when old Dan died, and now little Ann's gone too. Both of them gone, just like that." "Billy, you haven't lost your dogs altogether," Mama said. "You've always had their memory. Besides, you can have more dogs." I rebelled at this. "I don't want no more dogs," I said. "I won't want never another dog again. They wouldn't be old Dan, and they certainly wouldn't be little Ann neither." "We all feel that way, Billy," she said. "I do especially. They fulfilled all my prayers I'd never thought would be answered." "I don't believe you," I said. "I prayed for my dogs, and look, both of them is dead." Mama was silent for a moment, and in a gentle voice she said, "Billy, sometimes it's hard to believe that things like this can happen, but there's always an answer. When you're older, you'll understand." "No, I won't," I said. "I don't care if I'm 100 years old. I'm never going to understand why my dogs had to die, Mama. Never." As if she were talking to someone far away, I heard her say in a low voice, "I don't know what to say, Billy. I can't even seem to find the right words for you." Looking up to her face, I saw that her eyes were flooded with tears. "Mama, please don't cry," I said. "I didn't mean what I said." "I know, Billy," she said. She squeezed me up tight. "It's just your way of fighting back." I heard the voice of my pa calling to us from the house. "Come now," Mama said. "I have supper ready and your father wants to talk to you. I think when you've heard what he has to say, you'll feel better, Billy." "I can't leave little Ann like this, Mom," I said. "It'll be cold tonight. I think I'll have to carry her back to the house." "No," Mama said. "I don't think you should do that. Your sisters go all to pieces, Billy. Let's make her comfortable here." Raking some dead leaves into a pile, she picked up little Ann and laid her in them. Taking off my coat, I spread it over her, and I dreaded to think of what I had to do on the morrow. My fathers and sisters are waiting for us on the porch, and Mama told them the sad story. My sisters broke down and started crying. They ran to Mama and buried their faces in her long cotton dress. Papa came over and laid his hand on my shoulder. "Billy," he said, "there are times in a boy's life when he has to stand up like a man, and this is one of them times. I know what you're going through, and I know it hurts, son, but there's always an answer. Always." "There can be no reason for dogs to die, Papa," I said. There just couldn't be. They'd done nothing wrong." Papa glanced at Mom, and getting no help from her, he said, "It's getting cold out here, son. Let's go to the house. I have something to show you." "Guess what we're having for supper," Mama said, as we turned to enter the house. "It's your favorite, Billy. Sweet potato pie. You'll like that, won't you?" I nodded my head, but my heart wasn't in it. Papa didn't follow us into the kitchen. He turned and entered his bedroom, and when he came into the room, he had a small shoebox in his hand. I recognized the box by the bright blue ribbon tied around it. Mama kept all her valuables in that. A silence settled over the room, and walking to the head of the table, Papa set the box down and started untying that ribbon. His hands was trembling as he fumbled with the knot, and with the lid off, he reached in and started lifting out bundles of money. After stacking them in a neat pile, he raised his head and looked straight at me. "Billy," he said, "you know how your mama's been wanting to have money enough to move out of these hills and into town so you children could get a good education?" I nodded my head. "Well," he said, in a low voice, "because your dogs, Billy, her prayers have been answered. This is the money earned by old Dan in the land. I've managed to make the farm feed us and clothe us, and I've saved every cent your first brought in, Billy. Now we have enough." "Isn't it wonderful?" Mama said. "It's just like a miracle." "I think it is a miracle," Papa said. "Remember, Billy, when you asked for them pups, your prayers were answered. You got your pups. Through them dogs, your prayers were answered again, and yes, I'm sure it is a miracle." "If he gave them to me, why did he take them away?" Billy asked. "I think there's an answer for that, too," Papa said. "You see, Billy, your mom and I, we didn't decide we don't want to separate you from your dogs. We knew how much you loved them when we decided that when we moved to town, we'd leave you here with your grandpa for a while. He needs help anyway." I knew my father was a firm believer in fate. To him, everything that happened was the will. Papa could see that his talk had had very little effect on me, and with a sorrowful look on his face, he sat down and said, "Now let us give thanks for the food and for all the wonderful things we do have in our lives. I'll say a special prayer to help with your dogs, Billy." I barely heard what Papa had to say, and during the meal I could tell that no one was enjoying the food. As soon as it was over, I went to my room and I lay down in my bed. Mama came in. "Why didn't you go to bed?" she said. "Get a good night's sleep, Billy. You'll feel better tomorrow." "I ain't gonna feel better, Mama," I said. "I gotta bury little Ann tomorrow." "I know," she said. "I'll help if you want me to." "No, Mom," I said. "I don't want no help. I'd rather do it by myself." "Billy, you're always doing things by yourself," Mama said. "That's not right. Everyone needs help sometime during their lives." "I know, Mom," I said, "but please, not this time. Ever since my dogs were puppies, we've always been together. Just the three of us." "We hunted together, we played together, we even swam together, Mama. Did you know, Mama, that little Ann used to come every night and peek in my window just to see if I was all right? I guess that's why I want to be by myself when I bury her." "Now, say your prayers and go to sleep, Billy," Mama said. "I'm sure you're going to feel better in the tomorrows." I didn't feel like saying no prayers that night. I was hurting too much, and long after the rest of the family had gone to bed, I lay staring into the darkness, trying to think and not able to. Sometime in the night, I got up and tiptoed to my window, and I looked out at my doghouse. It looked so lonely and empty sitting there in the moonlight. I could see that the door was slightly ajar, and I thought of many times I laid in my bed and listened to the squeaking of that door as my dogs came in and out. I didn't know I was crying until I felt the tears rolling down my eyes. Mama must have heard me get up, because she came in and put her arms around me. "Billy," she said, "you just have to stop this, son. You're going to make yourself sick, and I don't think I can stand any more of it." "I can't, Mama," I said. "It just hurts so much. I just can't. I don't want you to feel bad just 'cause I do." "I can't help it, Billy," she said. "Come now and get back in bed. I'm afraid you're going to catch yourself a cold." After she had tucked me in, she sat on the bed for a while as if she was talking to the darkness. I heard her say, "If only there was some way I could help, something I could do." "No one can help me, Mama," I said. "No one can bring my dogs back." "I know," she said, and she got up to leave the room. "But there must be something. There has to be." After Mom had left the room, I buried my face in my pillow and cried myself to sleep. The next morning, I made another box. It was smaller than the first one. Each nail I drove in the rough palm boards caused the knot in my throat to get bigger and bigger. My sisters came to help. They stood at for a while, and then with tears streaming down their faces, they ran for the house. I buried little Ann by the side of old Dan. I knew that's where she wanted to be. I also buried a part of my life along with my dogs. Remember a sandstone ledge I'd seen while prowling the woods? I went there and I picked out a nice stone and carried it back to them graves. Then, with painstaking care, I carved their names deep into the red substance. As I stood looking at the two graves, I tried hard to understand some of the things my pa told me, but I just couldn't. I was still hurting, and I still had that empty feeling. I went to Mama and had a talk with her. Mama, I said, do you think all good dogs go to heaven? Yes, she said, I surely do, Billy. I believe. Do you think, Mama, that maybe there's a place for all good dogs to go hunting to? You know, just like we got here at our place with mountains and sycamore trees and rivers and cornfields and old rail fences. Do you think, Mama, do you think maybe there might be that there too? I'm sure there is, Billy, Mama said. I just know it. I was thinking this over when Mama came up to me and started tucking in my shirt. Do you feel better, she asked. Oh, Mom, it still hurts something fierce, I said, as I buried my face in her dress. But I do feel a little bit better, Mama. I'm glad, she said, and she patted my head. I don't like to see my boy hurt like this, Billy. I just can't stand it. And that's where we're going to end, boys and girls. We have one chapter left, about 3 pages, chapter 20. All right, we can do this. We got this. All right, see you next time.